Today's video will help you dissolve identification with thinking. It will help you see very, very clearly the difference between the thinkingness which is arising versus the awareness of thinking, the knowing of thinking. It will help you discover yourself as the silent witnessing, which is more effortless, prior to, subtler than the thinkingness which arises and claims your identity, which claims your being, but it has no reality. It is not what you are. By realizing this, you will become free from compulsive thinking and the psychological chatter which creates so much dysfunction in your life. So I would definitely recommend watching this video in full. I really hope it helps you greatly. Here you're being invited to let go of this thinkingness. The way out of that is not more thinking. Who are you that sees the thinking happening right now? You wouldn't deny, right, that you are aware of the thinking. Thinkingness is there for sure, and there's an awareness of it. You witness the thinkingness. See clearly the difference between being the witness versus thinkingness. See what is more effortless, what is more natural, what is prior to. What is more intimate? Is the thinking more intimate or the witness sing? Don't go based off of what you've heard or what we've talked about. Actually confirm in your experience which one is prior to the other. Which one can be without the other necessarily needing to be? Can the thinkingness be without the witness of it? Or can the witness remain without the thinkingness? The thinkingness may come up again and again and again when you try to see this. Do you deny that it is in your witnessing, in your seeing, your awareness? Whatever thought is arising right now and whatever it is saying, it is not you. Just let go of instilling such a sense of self in it. Just be the seeing, just be the witnessing. How can you talk yourself into witnessing? All the talking yourself into witnessing is itself already witnessed without you even doing anything. being the witness of your experience is not an activity that you're doing. You may say, but Sunny, I can only see this for a few seconds, but the mind keeps being too active. It keeps talking, it keeps doing. You see, that's the problem. We're too interested in what the mind is doing. You're too interested in what you are witnessing and totally neglecting the fact of effortless, already there, witnessing. You're too interested in that which is not you and not enough interested in yourself. So don't talk about what the mind is doing. We could care less about what the mind is doing. It's just not a problem because it is not me or mine. I don't care about what it is doing. I'm only concerned with me, myself. And I am not the thinkingness. That which I am is not the thinkingness. So why do I care about it right now in this moment? I'm simply being myself. I don't need to think in order to be, but I must be in order for thinking to appear. Your being, your knowing, you do not owe to thinking. You can think about your being and knowing as a concept, but being, simply being and knowing, is not a concept. It is fact. But I'm so attached to my thought. Just another thought. This thought arises and we feel like, oh, this is so true. No, it's not. We have the power to not even pursue this. It is not you or yours. Just let it go. Why limit yourself to it? We create our own prison through the significance and meaning we give to the thoughts that arise. There's a whole new dimension and depth to you that you are not aware of while you remain in just the thinkingness. All our lives, we're just thinking, judging, describing, interpreting, reminiscing, projecting. We take that to be the subject of experience. We take that to be I, but it is not. The seeing in which all of this thinkingness is appearing, judging, interpreting, describing, projecting, reminiscing, is the seeing of that thinking offering any commentary. Is the awareness of thinking offering any judgment. Is the awareness of thinking judging the thinking? You may say, yes, it is. Judgment is arising. But is that judgment not also just a thought that there's an awareness of? And what is more intimate to you, the judgment that is arising or the seeing of it? Which, by the way, it is your seeing. It is you that is seeing, you that is reporting, oh, the judgment is arising. Are you not already the seeing? How much spiritual practice must we do to become the seeing? So, this is an invitation to stop keeping yourself small, stop keeping yourself a person. As the thinking, you're just a mere person and you have a load of problems to fix. The more thinking will only reinforce this contraction, this limited identification. It will only create temporary solutions, which will only create more and more problems. Open up to the possibility of a much more vast understanding of who you are. For that, you have to see that which is already you prior to the thinking. I know you appear to be thinking. I know you appear to be the body and what appears. Of course, in appearance, all of this seems very, very convincing. And it is. That's why it is an illusion worth living. But this practice is about discovering that which is true, not merely that which appears to be true. You're not a mere person. You're not just a name or a nationality. You're not just a body. You're not just the thinking. That which you already are is more you than any of these things ever were. And you don't get there by thinking. Thinking will only keep you in the illusion, in the personal identification. And we have to see that. We have to understand that. You start to discover yourself by being yourself. You already are always yourself. But we are too immersed in what we are not. This is the work of thinking. So, in moments of practice, you're being invited to be very, very genuine about this, very persistent. Discern between me and not me, discern between true and false. And again, that is not the work of thinking. So, how to do it? Well, discover here that which is effortless, which requires nothing, not even one lifting of one finger, not even an ounce of effort. To even think requires an effort. It requires a focusing, a contracting. But no matter how much thinking takes place, would you deny that there's an effortless awareness of it, the seeing of it? You're not doing anything to create. What is more you? Thinking? This is thinking. And again, what can be without the other? Can you be without thinking? Can thinking be without you? Do you need to think your way into being, into knowing? Right? Is witnessing the byproduct of you thinking about your experience? Or is all the thinking that is being done also just the activity being witnessed? So the next time you're going through a difficult time or a lot of thoughts, and now you're like, okay, no, I should be practicing, and I am not this thought, and it's okay to let go of thought. And, you find yourself doing all of this silly talking. Acknowledge that all of these thoughts, that of course when they arise, they appear to be me, my voice, my thinking, my doing. See that all of these thoughts, there's an awareness of. You are prior to the thoughts. This is what I mean by discerning between the real and the false, between you and not you, self and not self. Anything you are aware of arising and passing cannot be you, because you are that which sees it arising and passing, while you yourself are not arising and passing. This is the law of motion, of change. That which you are not, just lose interest in here and now. Who cares? Just for this moment, at least. Why keep giving a sense of self and investment and reality to that which I am not? How can thinkingness help me be? How can thinkingness help me be aware? Awareness does not need thinking. You see, when you start to discern in this way, you find yourself already seated in the position of being, of undefined, storyless, commentary-less, description-less being, knowing. Whereas remaining in the thinking is just this journeying. It's like a sense of I'm getting there. I'm on the way to what I'm achieving. The whole journey collapses in the moment you acknowledge your being, because the journey is entirely conceptual. And it falls through the moment you acknowledge the ever-present witnessing, the ever-present being. That is not an activity that you're doing or maintaining. Everything that is being done or maintained is witnessed effortlessly. So if you were to take a little bit of homework away from this little guidance, which I know it wasn't sort of a guided meditation to soothe you into something, it was just pointing out facts about your experience for you to acknowledge. Something to take away from this. I invite you to discern between thinkingness and the awareness of thinkingness, witnessing of thinkingness. I want you to see what is more intimate to you and what can be without the other, whereas what cannot be without the other. See clearly what is you and what is not you. The mind very cleverly, upon hearing these things, will create another concept of I am not the thinking. But notice how it just keeps thinking about how I am not the thinking. It is totally useless. See it clearly, and there's no need to even talk about it. There's no need, when you start to discover your true position, it is not a mental declaration, oh, I am the witness. Witnessing is already there, it's a fact, without you declaring that you are the witness. Your beingness is wordless, storyless. You do not need to say, I am, in order to be. You simply are. So the work of any genuine seeker, right, any spiritual seeker, is to discern between myself and not myself, between the true and the apparent. And you're becoming more and more interested in yourself, less and less interested in the apparent. At least in moments of practice, you must so willingly and openly lose interest in what is not you. Because that is what keeps us small. That is what keeps us bound in apparent reality. Many of us are just waiting for some sort of mental understanding until we feel safe to let go. But there's no such thing. You have to first put these words to the test, and only then does the taste of it come, right? We talk about all this all the time. No need to wait for anything. Surely do not wait for the mind to come around and give you the green signal. Okay, now, or this is it. No, because mind is restlessness itself. It is a constant, it is a total journeying. There will never be any destination. More thinking will only breed more thinking. More desiring will only breed more desiring. Resisting will only breed more resisting. Fearing will only breed more fearing. In mind, there always seems to be ups and downs, pain and pleasure, trial and triumph. But each solution just creates the next problem. The next problem creates the next solution. So it's a sort of cyclical activity. You, the witness of that, is not an activity. You, that which you are, that knows this activity, is not the activity and is itself not an activity. Now, do these words just make you think more? And why be interested in those thoughts? Of what use is that? The moment they arise, destroy them, let it go. Have no interest to pursue. But Sonny, I can't. But this is just all other more thoughts. The more you keep giving interest to them, the more it will feel like you can't. The more you feel like I need more spiritual practice, I need this, I need that. It's not you. Let it be that simple. If it's not you, then why just in this moment, just let it go. Be yourself. You don't have to think about being in order to be yourself. You don't need to think about who you are in order to be yourself. And lastly, the invitation is to become more interested in your own self, more interested and more curious about yourself. The only thing that you know about yourself is I am, and I know. I am, and I am aware. Both of these are wordless, thoughtless, activityless. This is what deserves your attention. This is what deserves your interest. This is the key to your freedom. All the spiritual teachers around the world who are teaching the path in a genuine way will point you to this. All paths lead to this eventually. At the level of thought, feeling, doing, and circumstances, there are many differences. But at the heart of our experience, there is universal being. You are being invited to look past all the differences, past all that is changeful, and acknowledge yourself as the changeless. The hint of truth in all of this illusion is I am. I know. The more we devote ourselves to that, the more the false starts to crumble. The more this mental prison just becomes weaker and weaker. When we come to this area of spirituality, right there, we can't really give you too many steps. Can't give you like a 10-step process to do like some sort of practice. Now we have to let go of all that complexity. You have to yield to the simplicity. Mind wants a very complicated practice or something to do, right? But that doing just constantly perpetuates more doing. Thinking only perpetuates more thinking. When we come to the subtler aspect of this teaching, there's a overwhelming simplicity that you have to surrender to. You have to yield to. The main obstacle is just attachment to your idea of yourself. To your self-image. To your personal self, to your personal story. So dissolve that self-concern by the simple invitation.
It's a great topic. Thanks, Sunny. It has been going on since last week. I haven't shared this one with the community, but I don't know, how did you find that one? Even when I was doing the gym yesterday, my mind was restless. Then I thought that maybe I should bring an anchor immediately. Then I thought that maybe I should tell to myself, I'm here, I'm aware what I'm doing. Then I got an ad hoc relief. Then I thought that it's working for me. What if I tell to myself to bring me awareness? Then the mind stopped. But until you speak, I didn't know that it's also coming from the mind. It's also another thought. So I got the clarification. Thanks for that one. Otherwise, I'll be continuing this way because I thought it's worked, and I thought it's an anchor to an anchor. Because when mind was going so much restlessness, which anchor I need to use, I totally forgot. So I thought that maybe I can say loudly or internally, then that brings one step, one anchor. Then from that anchor, I can go. It's all, I know it's all mind game, and it's. Yeah. I went to
It
the
will
wrong
bring
one.
you relief, but it will not bring you to yourself. You see, relief will only, it's just another mental state which changes back into pain. That's all there is on the level of the mind, just different modes of pain. Some are very, or some are pleasant, some are painful. So, of course, when your thinking is very restless and painful and you want relief, you think of some sort of other narrative that brings you to the relief. But it's just another changeful state. What the work we're doing is not about just feeling relief. You see, it is self-awareness. Thinking will keep you just in this gradient of pleasure and pain, of relief and anxiety. So that's why, I noticed a few of the comments inside of the community were along these lines, right? Talking your way into this. But it's like, it appears to be helping you, but it doesn't. I'm okay with you being totally restless as long as you start to discover that even the restlessness, there's a seeing of. that the seeing of it, which by the way is my seeing. I'm the I again, what is more intimate to you? The witnessing of the restlessness, or the restlessness being witnessed? Right? It is you that witnesses. The witnessing is not restless.
Right.
You simply are. You simply know. In the moment of this acknowledgement, you may not be aware of this happening, but in the moment of this acknowledgement, all the interest in the restlessness itself, which is the object of your seeing, dissolves. And you are simply there as the ever present knowing being. So this is that which you're being invited to become interested in, devote yourself to. That which is always at the heart of your experience, that on which your entire experience relies. It doesn't require anything thinking to get to it. And the mind claiming that the thinking is helping is just another illusion. Just understand that at this level of spirituality, no thinking will help you. Knowing that, whatever the mind says, just don't care about it. Let it go. It's now about you just recognizing that the mind is the activity appearing in your seeing. During the day when you got to do your stuff, that like that's not a big deal. But I'm saying in moments of practice, we have to see this so clearly. Discern between you and not you, self and not self.
I think the the challenge is decades and decades. We, or at least I, trusted the mind or depended on the mind, whatever it's saying. So now I think this is the great trust I should have, that I should not depend or should not trust the mind, even though it's my closest friend for like a decades,
But
right?
that's not true. You have an even closer friend, which is your presence. Your mind actually is your friend that also is your enemy. That it pretends to be your friend, but it is also your enemy, because it is also the cause of all your problems. It's
Right.
constantly talking bad about yourself and others. It's constantly creating misery. It appears to be your friend, but there's an even more loyal friend that you have totally neglected.
Yeah.
It is your presence. There's a quote that says something along the lines of, your presence, treat it as your greatest friend, your greatest God, your greatest source. Give your all to it. Bring your attention to it. Give it
Mm.
care, love, devotion, and everything will be set right. It is true. Your mind being your friend is an illusion. The more you buy into it, the more you will feel like I need to think in order for my experience to be, and in
Mm.
order for my personal life to go the way that it should. But this is just an illusion. On this path, as you tread the path and you start letting go of interest in the constant psychological chatter, you start to discover that there's greater and greater harmony in your experience. And that despite letting go of the thinking, I still am. The more you let go of thinking, the more you realize that the less you need thinking. Whereas the more you continue to give a sense of reality, a sense of self to the thoughts, the more you will feel like I need to keep this thinking going in order to keep my life together. It is a total illusion. But it's funny, you can't realize that it is an illusion before actually having the courage to let go. It is designed in that way. It's quite great.
Yeah, exactly. And you also mentioned that the witness is already there. It's you. You don't need to say that the witness is there. Then
Yes.
I'm wondering, just acknowledge that witness is the kind of self-realization. I don't know. I'm putting very, very one sentence summary or one line summary. Everyone has a witness and it's already there, but based on the different mind playing, we are adding lots of filter, right? So as you said that I don't need to say that witness is already there. I am the witness. It's always there, right? It's forever. I don't need to create anything and all. It's no beginning or no end kind of stuff. But the mind is kind of tricking, and its mind is not letting me to realize that I am the witness, or the witness is always there.
It just like the thinking constantly imposes some sort of identity on top of the identityless. You know, we talked about this in a recent Q&A, that the moment you step into thinking, there is something that is being thought about and someone as whom you're thinking. So all thought, notice this, you're thinking as the person. You're thinking as the person you take yourself to be, which is your idea of yourself. And you're thinking about this person's life. That is the limitation that thinking imposes. It's fine and all for the story purpose and for interpersonal reacting and acting and relating, but this is not about what at the level of appearance. This is about what you are in essence. In order to discover the more expanded, and even expanded, the word is limited, but a more expanded self, you have to let go of the contraction. You have to let go of the limitation, which is thought. You can only think as a someone, as a somebody. So there's an identity there, which is limited. You are a something. You are this and not that. You have to let go of that limitation. By letting go of thinking, you see when you let go of thinking, you simply are. In that moment, you're not thinking, I am here as this, or it's just simply being. Wordless, conceptless, thoughtless, identityless being. In that moment, the entire momentum of your story, your idea of yourself, your self-image, your past, your future, none of that stuff is there. All of that stuff doesn't exist in that moment. You simply are identityless being. So to know yourself, be yourself. And this starts to become clear, that the veil starts to thin. That's the simplicity of this.
Great. Thanks, Sunny.
Thank you for your question.
Yep.
Sit with what you heard today. Contemplate it in silence. I'm attaching some free resources, some free mini courses that I have in the description box below. Please take advantage of those. I think it will help you deepen your practice. And if this is something that you're not sort of breaking through with the videos and you're seeking more personal help from me, please learn more about School of Awakening, which is my day-by-day meditation program, which takes you down this teaching step by step and helps you fully integrate it into your life, helping you totally dissolve mind identification and start awakening to your formless nature. If that is of interest to you, I'll also link that down below. You can take a look at it. It will take you over to the program page. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it was very beneficial to you. If you're still watching till the very end, just comment below and let me know. I love to see who always stays till the end. And if you wish, please share with us in the comments what you learned today, what you gained from today's video, and what you'll be practicing based off of what you heard today. Okay, so thank you again. I'll see you next time.